I'm very pleased to announce the 3-year extension for Patrick Oveen as the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks.
Very thankful and honored to be part of the Vancouver Canucks moving forward.
Are you prepared to go all in, and if that means giving up prospects, would you do it?
You know what? This is conversations that I have with my staff every day, with the coaches as well, how we play. Talk has said it many times that he's a puzzle guy. And again, I give the players a lot of credit for where we are right now. They put ourselves in a position here to finish up the next 33 games. We all know that it's just going to get harder. Every single game from now on is going to be tough. There is a lot of good teams in our division and conference here. So I think that's where what I like with the group we have is that we're having the next day mentality. How do we get better? What can we learn? And I think that's what the coaches have done a really good job. And I think part of that will dictate the outcome of the rest of the season. But as I said here before, the players have put themselves in a really good position. Do we go all in or not? There's something we always discuss, because the short-term acquisition or the short-term decisions is always going to impact the long-term planning for us. And those are the things that my staff are always taking into consideration when we do something.
With the fact that you've had such strong performances from your third line, your fourth line, there's been so many contributors. Are you the type of person who wants to stay loyal to this group and let them finish out the task at hand, or perhaps risk upsetting the apple cart to bring in one or two pieces that may be a different piece of the puzzle?
Well, again, I think that the players deserves the credit for where we are. You go back to where we started, Dakota Yasha was a healthy scratch. Now you can arguably that he's probably our best wall play guy because he worked on it. And to his credit, he listened to the coaching staff. Same thing goes with Nils Höglander. He had a tough time early on to stay in the lineup, but they trusting the coaches to help them to get better. I think that shows the character of our group here too. The team is growing together, and the big puzzle is to see where our needs are in terms of improving. And if it makes sense, then we're definitely gonna look at it.
When you and Jim came in, and I know he was here a few months earlier, this job required an aggressive approach in terms of fixing the roster and fixing the cap. How have you evolved in that area? Because this is your first time as a GM in terms of being that aggressive guy. Were you where you were when you started? And have you evolved in that area?
I got an aggressive boss that is on me every day, and that's what I like with Jim. He's always ahead of things, and I think part of it, the parity of the league, we'll see here coming out with the COVID, with the flat cap, and how hard it is to make deals. And again, I think that's where our focus was, to bring in quality coaching staff members that could interact and teach our players to get better. We know that we had quality individuals, but we had to become a team in order to have success here.
I want to ask you about the effect of Petey's situation. I'm not going to ask you to comment on his negotiations, but how much does it impact your ability to think forward? Because if that's going to be a lot of money if he winds up staying. And take me through your approach on how to balance short-term needs versus long-term needs within the context of that negotiation.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, because that's what we're dealing with every day. We're always looking at projection for our lineup, potential numbers, and I'm happy to see that several of our players having success in this environment. And as I said last year, going through the free agent process with Rick Tocchet as a head coach here, I guess I wasn't surprised, but I was very pleased with how many players that actually wanted to come to Vancouver and be part of this process in the environment that Rick is known for. Regarding Petey, I think those are questions that we on daily basis evaluated and taking into consideration what makes our team better right now and how will that affect us moving forward here. And Petey is I mean, he's an extremely talented player, and I think that he has even more upside with the coaching staff that we have, and understanding that you have to sacrifice some of your own points for the team points. And I think that's where the mindset and process of our younger players are kicking in.
What are the priorities for you at the deadline? A lot of people believe getting some more winger help for Petey might be that. Is that how you see it in terms of your needs?
You know what, it's a little bit here, again, going back to listening to my coach, Rick Tocchet, and how he talks about the puzzles and how we want to play. I don't want to get into specific needs. I think in general, we're looking at different areas and what's available too, if it makes sense or not. But we all know that you need depth in order to be successful down the stretch here. And the way that players are performing in Abbotsford is encouraging for us as well. So we'll see and act accordingly what's available here and if it makes sense or not. When we had our opening day of training camp, that this team has the potential and quality to be a good team if everything goes right for us. But I would give Rick Tocchet and his coaching staff a lot of credit, and the players for buying in and listening to him. Playing the right way, talking about playing to our staples, talking about playing to our identity. I think those are the focuses from the coaching staff on every day, how do we get better? And it's the bigger picture is to include Abbotsford and our development staff to have the same vision, being on the same path to help the younger players making that transition. And I think they've done a great job. Daniel and Henrik being the bridge between Vancouver and Abbotsford, having those daily conversations with Jeremy Colleton and his staff and Rick Tocchet and his staff. I think that builds the trust within the coaching staff to feel comfortable whenever a new player is called upon to come up here and perform. In order to be good, you might have to sacrifice some of your own ego in order to have a good team around you. What I've seen from successful teams, that's what their core players are doing. They don't take the biggest piece of the pie. They understand that there is a puzzle. And I think we're coming a long way in that regards. And I do, as I said, seeing that we have an internal competition here that is stronger than what it was when I walked in here 2 years ago, and hopefully by challenging our scouting staff that we're going to continue to build out that. In the end of the day, there is only so much money we can spend on each individual and not sacrifice the whole team. It seems to be somehow an excitement about our prospects from other teams based on the conversation I have. So again, I feel we have assets here.
Give me a hug. I love you. Oh yeah.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.